Welcome to the 11th lecture of this course module, Communication Engineering. So in the last lecture, we have seen the ring modulator, how to generate the double sideband suppressed carrier modulated wave. So in the today's lecture, we have to look at the another modulation technique. So far we have seen amplitude modulation, that is our conventional AM, and then followed by the double sideband suppressed carrier modulation scheme. So as I said that in the case of conventional AM, if we see conventional AM is neither power efficient nor bandwidth efficient. So to reduce the power of the modulated signal, we have gone for the double sideband suppressed carrier technique. Okay, in which we have seen that basically the bandwidth requirement remains same as in the case of conventional AM, but its power requirement is getting reduced because we are suppressing the carrier part. Okay, and therefore our modulation efficiency in the case of double sideband suppressed carrier modulation scheme becomes 100%. Now today we have to look at another modulation scheme which is both power efficient as well as the bandwidth efficient. Why it is so? Because in the next modulation scheme we are going to suppress one of the sideband also. Okay, so here you can see, just for your understanding, like in the last case I told you that in this case, if you see in the double sideband modulation scheme, we are having two sidebands. Okay, both upper sideband as well as the lower sideband. Okay, both the sidebands were available. Okay, but now today we have to look at in this particular video that if even if we suppress one of the sideband, okay, only one sideband would be sufficient to recover back the original message signal. Okay, we can suppress one of the sideband. Like here we have the LSB part, so we can only send the USB part. Okay, upper sideband, that will be sufficient to recover back the original message signal. Similarly, we can also suppress the USB part, upper sideband, and only we can send the LSB part so that we can recover back the original message signal. Okay, so that method we have to look at. So that method is actually known as SSBSC. Okay, means single sideband suppressed carrier modulation scheme. Okay, so single sideband suppressed carrier modulation. Okay, so as name suggests, single sideband suppressed carrier. Okay, so it is just containing the one sideband. It may be upper sideband or it may be lower sideband. Okay, and the carrier is also suppressed. Okay, it is removed. So the name suggests it is single sideband suppressed carrier modulation scheme. So as we know, in the case of time domain expression of the DSBSC signal, this was the time domain expression of the SDSBSC signal. So that was our cos 2 pi FC plus FMT, and here it is FC minus FMT. Okay, two sidebands were available. Okay, in the case of single tone modulation scheme. Okay, so this was the equation. This equation we have already seen. Okay, so now in the case of SSB modulation, okay, single sideband, okay, suppressed carrier modulation scheme, we have to just retain one of the sideband. As you can see that this is our upper sideband, it is FC plus FM, and here it is FC minus FM is our lower sideband. So we have to just retain one of the sideband. Okay, so let us suppose if we want to generate a SSB USB signal, okay, single sideband suppressed carrier, upper sideband modulated. Okay, so it is SSBSC upper sideband modulated. So in this case only, this will be the expression. Time domain expression will be AM AC by 2 cos 2 pi FC plus FMT. Okay, so this will be our expression for SSB USB modulated signal. Similarly, we can write equation for SSB LSB modulated signal. So it will be this particular quantity, okay, AM upon AC, AM AC divided by 2 cos 2 pi FC minus FMT. Okay, so this is our time domain expression of SSBSC signal for the case of single tone modulation, right? Now we can just extend this expression. Okay, we can represent it in some another form. Okay, that will be suitable for doing the analysis, right? So what I can say is, if I want to just write the SSBSC signal, okay, then SSBSC signal could be written as like AM AC by 2 cos 2 pi, and then I can write FC plus minus FMT. Okay, where plus minus represents, plus sign represents upper sideband, and this negative sign represents lower sideband. Okay, plus sign stands for upper sideband in this case, in this particular equation. Okay, in this particular equation, and negative sign will represent your lower sideband. Okay, lower sideband modulated signal. Now what I can do is I can just write the equation like trigonometric function cos a plus b formula. Okay, so that will be giving you cos a cos b plus sin a sin b. Okay, so that we can write. So that trigonometry formula we have to use. So this equation will become like this. Okay, AMAC by 2, it will be cos 2 pi FCT. Okay, cos 2 pi FMT, this plus minus will become minus plus. Okay, this sign will become minus plus. Okay, so that will be our AMAC divided by 2 sine 2 pi FCT sine 2 pi F. Okay, so that is the simple formula that we have used while writing this particular equation. Now what I can do is I can write this term separately, like AM cos 2 pi FMT is nothing but our message signal. Okay, AM cos 2 pi FMT is the message signal, and this is AM sin 2 pi FMT is the 90-degree phase shifted version of the message signal. Okay, AM sin 2 pi FMT. So basically I can generalize this expression. Okay, and how we can generalize this expression? We can write this as SSB equals to like AMAC by 2 and then multiplied with message signal MT. Okay, I'm just writing AM cos 2 pi FMT equals to MT. Okay, and here it is cos 2 pi FCT. Fine. Then this sign is minus plus, and then AC by 2, and then again this will be represented by M cap T. Okay, where this M cap T represents the Hilbert transform of the message signal MT. Okay, whose function is to provide 90-degree phase shift. Okay, so I'm not writing the definition of the Hilbert transform, but you remember that it is a Hilbert transform. Okay, you can find the definition of the Hilbert transform, mathematical definition, in any of the books. Okay, so how to find the Hilbert transform of any function if it is given, like if any arbitrary function we have xt, then how to find the Hilbert transform x cap t. Okay, so this is representing you Hilbert transform. M cap t is nothing but, here it is AM sin 2 pi FMT, which is a 90-degree phase shifted version of the message signal, and it is actually denoting, in the case of sinusoidal signal, okay, it will be a 90-degree shifted version, and it will be represented by its equivalent Hilbert transform. Okay, so it is M cap t and sin 2 pi FCT. Okay, sin 2 pi FCT. So basically, this is our generalized expression, time domain expression for SSB SC signal. Okay, single sideband suppressed carrier signal. So in this equation, we can see that in this expression, how to identify that whether it is a upper sideband modulated or lower sideband modulated. So basically, just by seeing this sign, okay, here you can see that here this negative sign in this particular expression, okay, here this negative sign represents the upper sideband, and this positive sign represents the lower sideband. Please do not bother about this expression. Okay, in this expression, SSB AM AC upon 2 cos 2 pi FC plus FM plus minus FMT. So I said that plus sign represents the upper sideband. Okay, and negative sign represents the lower sideband. Okay, but once we expand this expression, this plus sign will convert it into negative sign. Okay, and therefore I'm saying that this negative sign here in this expression represents the upper sideband. Okay, and this plus sign represents the lower sideband. Fine. So this is how we identify the whether it is upper sideband modulated or lower sideband modulated. So as I said, that only one sideband would be sufficient. Even if we only send only one sideband, then at the receiver end we will be able to extract back the original message signal. Okay, by following the demodulation method. Fine. So now let us suppose we can have this particular equation SSSB. Okay, and then you can go on calculating the Fourier transform of this equation. Okay, you can go for calculating the Fourier transform. Okay, similar to your the way we did in the case of our my means by following the modulation property. Okay, by just following the modulation property, we would be able to get the Fourier transform of this equation also. Okay, now I would like from our viewers that they should go and follow the books, okay, and try to get the Fourier transform of this equation. I will appreciate if you try to do this, okay, and you will be able to write what will be the Fourier transform of this equation. It is very important, okay. Just I'm keeping this for you all viewers, just as an assignment, okay. Try to do this and let me know the result in the comment box. Okay, if you find any difficulty, then I will be sharing the solution. Otherwise, I think it is very simple because it is just the modulation property that we need to follow, nothing else. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is if we take this negative sign, okay, or positive sign, negative sign will give you upper side band and positive sign will give you lower side band. Okay, so now suppose that we have a message signal MT whose Fourier transform is something like this. Okay, if its Fourier transform is something like this, okay, which is known in this form. Okay, it's having its maximum frequency equals to FM. So now if the message signal is having this Fourier transform, this type of frequency spectrum, then it's SSB USB, okay, USB modulated. Means SSB modulated signal, which is our USB part only is retained, okay. So in this case, our spectrum will be something like this, okay. It will be shifted around FC and only upper sideband will be retained, okay. So only upper sideband has been retained in this particular spectrum. Means the frequency component which is available in the in between FC and FC plus FM. Okay, you remember that this particular signal that we have taken, it is a multi-tone signal. Okay, I initiated this discussion by just taking the single tone case. Okay, if you want to plot the this particular spectrum of this particular equation, okay, only this equation, you must know that only two delta function will appear, one at fc plus fm and another at minus fc minus fm at this point. Okay, two delta function will appear. Okay, that will be our upper sideband. Similarly, if you plot this particular spectrum, okay, for this particular equation ssb lsb, okay, then one delta function will appear at this point. Okay, another delta function will appear at this point. Okay, but now I am just considering that it is a multi-tone signal and therefore our upper sideband modulated signal will be having this particular spectrum. Okay, and this portion, so it is our upper sideband modulated spectrum. Similarly, if you have the ssb lsb modulated, okay, then this is our lsb spectrum. Okay, this is our lsb part. So here it will be available in between fc minus fm to fc. Okay, so this will be our lsb part. So this will be our modulated signal spectrum. Okay, ssb modulated spectrum. Okay, and now from the spectrum itself, what we can see is the bandwidth requirement of our modulated wave is equals to fc minus fc plus fm. Okay, so fc will be cancelled out, so bandwidth requirement of the modulated signal is fm. Okay, so it is the maximum signal frequency that we have, that will become the bandwidth. In the earlier two cases, if you remember, in the case of conventional AM and the SPSC cases, this bandwidth requirement was twice of the maximum signal frequency. Okay, so here it is just equals to a maximum signal frequency. Okay, so it means that the bandwidth requirement is actually becomes half. Okay, that's why we are saying that this SSB modulation is actually bandwidth efficient. Okay, so I hope this spectrum must be clear. Okay, and please try to do this assignment. Okay, try to calculate the Fourier spectrum for this expression SSB. Okay, this particular expression, and then try to get this waveform. Try to get this particular frequency spectrum. Okay, in the case of upper sideband modulation and in the case of lower sideband modulation, you will be able to show this. Okay, it is very simple to demonstrate. Okay, so try to do this. Please don't skip this part. Okay, and that will be a part of your learning. Okay, so please try to do that. You will be getting this particular things. Now, if you go for the demodulation, okay, the only possible demodulation is our synchronous detection we can do. Okay, we have to do the synchronous detection. So how to synchronous detection we can perform here is simply the way we have done for the other cases. We have to multiply the SSB signal with a locally generated carrier. Okay, so the same carrier we can use. Okay, so let us suppose that we are again using the carrier like AC cos 2 pi FCT with certain phase offset phi. We are having a certain phase offset, phase error phi. We can take this particular means carrier, okay, that we need to multiply at the our demodulator end. Now once we take this particular equation, okay, this particular equation of SSB, and when we multiply with this particular carrier AC cos 2 pi FCT plus phi, then we can simply solve this expression. Okay, we can solve this particular expression. Here we are getting this particular expression, for example, AC by 2. So here it is AC, so it will become AC square. Okay, and then AC square by 2, then it is MT cos 2 pi FCT and cos 2 pi FCT plus phi. So basically it is going to have expression of 2 cos A cos B formula. Okay, it is going to give you two expression of 2 cos A cos B formula. Fine. That cos A cos B formula will be giving you cos A plus B plus cos A minus B. So that simple formula that we have to use. Okay. Again, this is minus plus sign. So it is minus plus sign we are having AC square by 2. And then this expression is again going to give you M cap T, which is nothing but our Hilbert transform of the masses signal. So M cap T, and then again it is going to give you 2 sine A sine B, 2 sine A cos B formula. Okay, that will be your sine A plus B minus sine A minus B. Okay, so that formula we have to, trigonometric formula we have to use. Okay, so after using that trigonometric formula, okay, we can finally get this expression that AC square by 4 MT. Here we are going to get cos 4 pi FCT plus phi plus cos phi. Okay, then minus plus sign, then AC square by 4 M cap T sine 4 pi FCT plus phi and minus sine minus phi. Okay, this will be our expression. It is very simple to show. Okay, try to do this. So once we'll get this expression, now we can see directly from this time domain expression itself that there are the components, like one component which is shifted around 2 FC frequency. Okay, here you can see that it is a high frequency component. If you multiply this masses signal MT and AC square by 4 within this parenthesis, okay, then what will happen? There will be one spectrum that will be shifted around central frequency 2 FC, okay, a carrier frequency of 2 FC, because here it is 4 pi FCT. So basically first product term is going to give you very high frequency component. Okay. Similarly here again, the first product of this two MT, M cap T and sine 4 pi FCT plus phi is going to give you high frequency component. Okay, so these are going to give you high frequency component. The second product term will be your MT cos phi. Okay, so cos phi is a constant value. Remember that it is not a time varying thing. So it is a cos phi means it is a constant value. So MT multiplied with a constant value. So basically the second term will be our baseband masses signal itself. Okay, with some multiplicative factor. Okay, with some multiplicative factor. Okay, AC square by 4 multiplied with cos phi multiplied with the masses signal MT. Similarly, again, in this factor, again, we are going to get M cap T, and then this is a negative sign. So this will be sine minus phi. So sine minus theta is equals to minus sine theta. So this minus minus will become plus. Okay. So basically, again, it is going to multiply with one constant factor, right? Now, so you can see in this block diagram. So after doing this multiplication, we have to pass this product term through a appropriate low pass filter. Okay, so we have to pass it through a low pass filter. So basically, when it is passing through the low pass filter, then what will happen is all the high frequency component will be rejected. So I can straight away say that this first product term here and this first product term, okay, this both the terms will be rejected by your low pass filter. The only component that will be appear across means after the low pass stage is AC square by 4 mt cos phi, then minus plus sign, and then AC square by 4 m cap t sin phi. Only this component is going to appear. Okay. Please here in this picture, please do not bother about this. What I have written, like V output is directly proportional to mt cos phi. So I have taken this picture from the previous slide. There I had written this particular for in the case of explaining the quadrature null effect. So there I had directly written mt cos phi. So that has to be changed in the case of SSBSC modulation. So please do not bother about this. Okay. So what is the output? V output T is this. Okay. Rather than this, we are going to get this output. Okay. V output T is equals to AC square by 4 mt cos phi minus plus AC square by 4 m cap t sin phi. Now, one very important observation in the case of SSB-SC modulation we have to observe is, if you see, phi is nothing but the phase offset. Okay, we said that it is a synchronous modulation, and so in the case of synchronous modulation, what we need to have is the carrier that we are using for the demodulation purpose. It should be in the phase and frequency synchronized. Okay, it should be in phase of the carrier that we have used for the modulation purpose. Okay, it should be having the same phase and frequency part. That means, okay, this is what I mean. Okay, but here we have taken the phase offset equals to phi. So basically, due to this phi, this output we are going to get. Okay, we are going to get this particular output. Now, thing is that if let us say, let us say phi is equals to 0. Okay, let us suppose that if we have the phi equals to 0, in that case, what happens is cos phi will be equals to 1. Okay, so when cos phi means cos 0 equals to 1, then sin phi will become 0. So basically, this part will be removed. Only this part will be available at the output of the low pass filter. Okay, so the output will be AC square by 4 multiplied with the mt. That means our masses signal is recovered. Okay, you can see that our V output is our AC square by 4 mt. It means that we are able to recover the original masses signal. Fine. Now the second thing is, let us say again, if phi is equals to 90 degree, let us say. So when phi equals to 90 degree, we can see that cos 90 degree will be 0. So this portion will become 0. Now sin 90 degree is equals to 1. So because of that, our V output will be nothing but AC square by 4 m cap t. Now you remember that this m cap t is nothing but the Hilbert transform of the masses signal, which is just the 90 degree phase shifted version. Okay, phase shifted version means it is in the case of circuit, if you consider it is nothing but it is a delayed version of the signal. Okay, just delayed version. So it means that whether the phase means the carrier that we are using at the demodulator section is either it is in phase of the original carrier which we have used at the transmitter side, or even if it is at the quadrature phase. Okay, still there is a chance we can recover the original masses signal. Okay, we can recover back the original masses signal. So if you remember in the case of AM modulation and DSBSC case, when we had the 90 degree phase difference, okay, between the carrier that we have used for modulation and demodulation purpose, then the message was lost. Okay, in both the cases. Okay, whenever phi equals to 90 degree, the message was completely lost and we could not recover back the original passage signal. Okay, and that was we called as the quadrature null effect. Okay, but here in the SSBSC case, because of its inherent property, okay, we can see that even if we are not giving the same carrier, okay, even there is a phi equals to 90 degree, okay, then still we will be able to recover back the original masses signal. Okay, so therefore we are saying that there will be no quadrature null effect in the case of SSBSC modulation. This is a very important advantage of our SSBSC signal. Okay, so this is how we can demodulate, and we can easily show that only one sideband will be sufficient to recover back the original masses signal. Okay, we do not need to transfer both the transmit both the sidebands. Okay, and therefore by sending just one sideband we are sufficiently saving the transmission bandwidth of the modulated signal. Now again we can look at what will be the power requirement. So as I said, the SSBS SC signal is represented by AM AC by 2 cos 2 pi FC plus minus FMT. Okay, so either we can take only one sideband. Okay, so either plus or minus sign. So ultimately we are going to get whatever be the power, the total power of the modulated signal, that will be only available in the sideband. Okay, only available in the sideband. Either it is upper sideband or it may be a lower sideband. Okay, so again its modulation efficiency will be 100%, as in the case of our DSBSC case, because modulation efficiency we have defined as a PSB upon PT. Okay, so here PSB is equivalent to either PUSB, you can say upper sideband, or it can be PLSB, means lower sideband modulated. So basically the total power that we can write it as AM square AC square by 8. That is very simple to calculate. Okay, so even from this expression itself you can understand that the power requirement of this SSB-SC is also reduced. Not only the bandwidth have become half. Okay, and also if you compare the power requirement of the SSB-SC modulation from DSB-SC case, it has become half. Okay, why it has become half? Because we are just sending the one of the sideband. So only one of the sideband has been sent. So only one sideband is considering the power. Okay, and other sideband has been removed. So in the case of SSBSC, we are reducing, means we are removing carrier part and one of the sideband, and we are just retaining one of only single sideband. Okay, this is how we are able to reduce both the requirements, bandwidth requirements as well as the power requirements. So I hope this discussion must be clear. If you further have any query, okay, if any doubt, then you let me know in the comment box, and you can see that what are the advantages of the SSB signal. It is having low bandwidth requirement, less power requirement, no quadrature, null effect. Okay, however, this scheme is not very simple. It is a little complex scheme. Okay, its demodulation is complex. Its modulation is also a little bit complicated, but okay, it is offering a certain advantages. Okay, now one thing that we have to look at is how this power saving is actually occurring when we are moving from one modulation technique to another modulation. Okay, for example, we already have seen conventional AM, then DSB-SC, then SSB-SC. Okay, now we have already seen the bandwidth requirement. AM is having bandwidth equals to 2 FM, DSB-SC is again 2 FM, and this SSB-SC is having FM. Okay, so while moving from AM to DSB, there is no change in the bandwidth. Okay, only power has reduced. Okay, when we are moving from AM to DSB, only power requirement has reduced because we are suppressing the carrier part. Carrier has been suppressed. Okay, two sidebands has been sent. Now from DSB-SC to SSB-SC, we have reduced both carrier as well as one of the sideband. So only one of the sideband is retained. Okay, and one sideband and one carrier part is removed. So therefore, what we are saying that while moving from DSB-SC to SSB-SC, the bandwidth requirement have become half, and also there is a 50% reduction in the power requirement. Okay, when we are moving from DSB-SC to SSB-SC. Okay, so now in this slide, I'm going to tell you the power saving. Okay, how much percentage of power we can save when we move from AM to DSB-SC and when we move from AM to SSB-SC. Okay, you remember that when we are moving from DSB-SC to SSB-SC, the power requirement will become 50%. Okay, we are able to save the 50% power. Okay, when we move from DSB-SC to SSB-SC, no need to require to calculate. It is easily understandable. Okay, now but when we move from AM to DSB-SC and then we move from AM to SSB directly, then how much power we can save, that we have to look at. Okay, so as we see already that the power requirement of an AM signal, okay, that AM signal consists of its carrier part, upper sideband and lower sideband. Okay, we have already seen its expression. Fine. So this PT equals to PC plus PUSB and plus PLSB. Now this PT expression I have already derived, so that will be equals to PC 1 plus mu square by 2, where mu is our modulation index. So now this PC has been defined as AC square by 2. If you remember, it is defined as AC square by 2. Now power requirement of the DSBSC signal was, I said that only carrier part has to be removed. Okay. So this total power requirement was PT equals to PUSB plus PLSB. Fine. So basically, if you talk about in this terms, okay, then that will be equals to, if you write this is like AC square by 2 plus AC square by 2, that will become 4. So AC square mu square by 4. So AC square mu square by 4 is the total sideband power. Okay. Mu square AC square by 4. So that will be our total sideband power, means it is the summation of the upper sideband plus lower sideband. So basically this was the power requirement of our DSBSC signal. Now power requirement of SSBSC signal, just we have seen, I have told you that it is AM square AC square by 4. So again we can write this power requirement of SSBSC signal in a similar terms. Okay, for example, what we have to do is we have to again remove one of the sideband, okay, either LSB or USB. So let us suppose if I remove one of them, okay, what I will left with, I will be left with mu square AC square by 8. Okay, mu square AC square by 8. So I can write this expression PT equals to mu square AC square by 8, because we are just removing one of the sideband. Fine. So these are the different power requirements of our different modulation scheme. Now, if we want to calculate how much percentage of power saved in DSBSC with respect to AM, okay, it means that when we move from AM to DSBSC scheme, how much power would be saved. Okay, so first of all, we need to calculate the percentage of power saving. PS I am just denoting as a power saving. So percentage of the power saving can be calculated as power saved divided by power used in the AM. Okay, power used in AM, because we are calculating with respect to AM. Okay, with respect to AM. So we will be calculating how much power we are able to save. Okay, divided by power used in the AM multiplied with the 100%. So this power saved, we can calculate this numerator power saved, we can calculate as how to calculate this. So basically how much power we have used in the case of our this DSBSC case, and AM case. So basically this AC square by 2 plus AC square mu square by 4, that represents the power of our AM. Okay, we know that AM is occupying the maximum power. So this is our power of the AM signal minus power of the DSBSC case. Okay, so that will be our means saving of the power. Okay, what is the total power, means what is the power requirement in the AM case, AM modulation case, minus power requirement of the DSBSC case. Okay, so this was the power AC square by 2 plus AC square mu square by 4 in the case of our AM signal, minus AC square mu square by 4 in the case of DSBSC signal. So power saved is equals to AC square by 2. Now we can just use this particular equation. Percentage power saving can be calculated as AC square by 2, then again power used in the AM. So it is AC square by 2, 1 plus mu square by 2. So we can just cancel out this AC square by 2 term, and then we can multiply with the factor of 2. So ultimately we are going to get this expression percentage power saving when we moved from AM to DSBSC. Okay, when we moved from AM to DSBSC. So percentage power saving will be equals to 2 upon 2 plus mu square multiplied with the 100%. We can analyze this expression for different values of mu very easily. Okay, very simply. So you can just substitute different values of mu modulation index, and then we can find out at what value of the modulation index we can reduce the means we can save the power. Okay, how much power we would be able to save. Okay, so that we can calculate. Similarly, here the power saved in the SSB with respect to AM. Okay, this case. Okay, this case. As I said that this case is just a 50% reduction. We can know that. Okay, whatever be the requirement of DSBSC case, 50% power will be required by the SSB case. Okay, but what if we calculate with respect to AM? Okay, so again we have to calculate the power saved. Okay, power saved. So power in the AM modulation is AC square by 2 plus AC square mu square by 4. And the power requirement of SSB signal is mu square AC square by 8. Okay, AC square mu square by 8. Now you can just subtract this. You will be getting power saved equals to AC square by 2, 1 plus mu square by 4. Okay, so this will be our expression. Now just you can substitute this expression into this. So we will be getting the power saved equals to AC square by 2, 1 plus mu square by 4. And then this is the power requirement of the AM signal. So ultimately the expression that we are going to get for percentage power saving in the case of when we move from AM to directly SSB, that will be equals to 1 plus mu square by 4 divided by 1 plus mu square by 2 into 100%. So try on different values of mu, okay, and then try to see that how much power we will be able to save from when we move from one modulation scheme to another modulation scheme. So try with this. Okay, we will be meeting in the next lecture with a certain topic. So I hopefully I will be discussing about the generation of the different scheme of the generation of SSPSC signal. So thank you for watching. I will stop here today and I will be coming up with the next lecture. So please stay connected with the channel to get more updates. Thank you for watching. If you have any query, please let me know by just dropping your comment in the comment box. Thank you.